the Peterson Insurance Agency are ready to discuss your specific needs in person.
Come see me, Jay Peterson, your Pekin Insurance agent at 117 West Main in Clinton, or call 935-6605.
News time is 7 minutes after 8 o'clock on this Thursday. Thanks for being with us this morning from the newsroom of Regional Radio and DeWittDailyNews.com. I'm Seth Lawrence with this expanded local newscast streaming to Facebook and YouTube. It's brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. The DeWitt County Animal Shelter has been in the spotlight the last month, and the search for a new administrator is ongoing, and a new position is in the works as well. DeWitt County Board Chairperson Dan Matthews explains leadership of the animal shelter will be recreated. He feels they needed to revamp the staffing in order to give the animals, the proper care at the shelter.
Yeah, I think it's a good time to talk about that. We've recently recreated the positions out there, having both a administrator, also a warden position, which we didn't have before, and we've created 2 part-time positions. So we feel that we needed to ramp up the staff out there. You know, animals need care Monday through Sunday, not Monday through Friday. And so we've always battled with how do we, take care of animals on the weekend. So we would have 2 full-time people, and then we would have 2 part-timers who shared weekends, shared holidays, that work around 25 hours each. That way that work, every day the animals are getting the same care. Not that they weren't being cared for on the weekends, but, this will give us more opportunity to do that by having another person on, 2 more people on staff, sharing 50 hours a week.
According to Matthews, they've held interviews for the administrator role and feel they have a good candidate for that position.
Right now, we're trying to hire the administrator. We did some interviews this week. We had a pretty good candidate for now, but we also are taking additional applications, and we've already received more. So we're hoping to have all of those interviews done and have someone in place by September 1st. From there, then that person would look to hire the warden and then the part-timers that we would need to, be fully staffed. So right now we're kind of running a limited shelter, I would say, meaning that we have a contractor who was already working for us before, is doing a lot of the work out there with the animals. And of course, Second Chance, like always, is doing a great job helping us, coming to the shelter, helping take care of the animals, working on foster and adoption for some of the dogs that are out there right now, some of the cats. So we're covering it well, but it doesn't allow us to do all of the things that we need to do with the municipalities and outside, as far as taking in strays, taking in surrenders, following up on we did have a bite case that's been a few weeks ago now. So the sheriff and the city of Clinton police are helping us out there. They're doing more of the calls right now than they would normally do, so that till we get staffed back up.
For Matthews, the shelter should work and function best when you get the right people in positions and there is an understanding of everyone's role in the operation. He hopes the changes will allow for that happening going forward. The Renewable Fuels Association is promoting the challenges of the industry, but also the current success stories. Jeff Cooper is the CEO of the Renewable Fuels Association at the Farm Progress Show in Decatur this week, said the export market for ethanol is growing and is helping the world reduce pollution.
We're seeing growth in exports, and there are markets around the world that are beginning to use ethanol today that really didn't use ethanol or didn't use much ethanol in the past. And they have many reasons for increasing their use of ethanol, but most of them are focused on, providing lower fuel costs for their consumers, but also reducing emissions, whether that's greenhouse gas emissions or tailpipe pollution, particulate matter and other pollutants that lead to, lung problems and heart disease and other things. So there's a lot of interest worldwide in increasing the use of ethanol. We see countries like India, dramatically increasing their use of ethanol as a way to help with pollution and air quality problems, but also as a way of lowering fuel costs for their consumers.
According to Cooper, the industry is perfectly capable of keeping up with the growing demand across the globe.
We absolutely can. We know that farmers are more and more efficient each and every year. We know what that yield trend looks like. We expect to see that growth continue. And so, farmers are going to continue to need new markets for corn moving forward. And our ethanol industry is ready to, meet increased demand for ethanol as well. We have about 200 ethanol plants across the U.S. Today, we're producing at a rate of about 15.5 billion gallons. We have the capacity as an industry to produce more than 17 billion gallons of ethanol. So if the corn is available and if the demand is there for the product, we can expand production.
Summertime E15 is still on the radar of the Renewable Fuels Association. Cooper points out President Biden's administration extended the E15 sales for the summer of 2023, and they hope to be able to get that extended for the years ahead.
Yeah, it's still an issue for us. It absolutely is. We were fortunate in that this administration allowed the industry to continue selling E15 this summer. And again, they did that on the basis of E15's lower price and its ability to extend fuel supplies. So EPA this summer issued an emergency waiver that allowed the continued sale of E15. We're worried about what happens next summer, though, because, again, that was a kind of an ad hoc emergency waiver that EPA issued. So we still have work to do to clear away that barrier that prevents E15 from being sold during the summer months in most of the country. So there's a bill in Congress that was recently introduced in the Senate that we're excited about, and we're hopeful that can get passed before the end of the year, so we don't have this issue next summer and beyond. So yeah, it continues to be something we're very much focused on. We think if there is certainty that E15 can be sold 12 months, year round without any issues, we're going to see very rapid adoption of that fuel across the country.
Cooper says they're asking farmers and the public to contact their lawmakers in Washington, D.C. to voice their support for the extension of E15. The Illinois Farm Bureau also recently put out a call to action on the matter. The Illinois Department of Agriculture used the Farm Progress Show as a stop on this year's grain tour. More than 24 participants from Latin America and Asia were in the state to come see the show. Director of Ag, Jerry Costello, says the tour produces revenue each year for the state's agribusinesses.
Over the last 5 years, this grain tour has resulted in over $272 million in sales. One Latin American grain tour that we did not so long ago, and then one to Asia. Both of those resulted in over $60 million of sales. So these are important things, and we're bringing people from another country into the state of Illinois, connecting them with Illinois producers. These are by far most likely relationships that producers here wouldn't have had otherwise if it wasn't for this format and the ability of the Department of Agriculture to bring these folks here to the state of Illinois.
The grain tour is sponsored and operated by the Illinois Department of Agriculture, but all of the participants pay their own way to be a part of it. Case IH is showing off a new piece of equipment at this year's Farm Progress Show. The RFD Radio Network's Rita Frazier stopped in to see it.
Everyone wants to see the latest and greatest farm equipment. Case IH has a new combine. We talked about it with Leo Bose, Harvesting Marketing Lead with Case IH.
So we have the 160 series that we're showing here at Farm Progress Show. So we have a 6160, 7160. So we start up at the feeder house area. So we now have variable drive feeder. So we used to have just a fixed feeder. So for the corn and soybean country that we're in here, it's perfect because we can go through the field now and that feeder house will speed up and slow down. But the heart of that machine still has that axial flow rotor that we've had for 46 years, and we've built on that technology. We've now embedded AFS Harvest Command in that. So what does that mean? AFS Harvest Command automatically sets and adjusts the machine. So it doesn't take the operator out of it, but it allows that machine to look at the various sensors, about 15, and give the sensor inputs, and then change our rotor speed, cleaning fan speed. So as they go through the field, they're trying to maintain grain quality. It's setting a grain quality target. It's trying to maintain that. So for that, that's really now on the base of the unit. So the 160 series, just like we have our 250 series here, that's in the base. We've also increased grain tank capacity. So previous was 300 bushel. Now we've increased it by 50 bushel, so 350 bushels. So we keep that combine out there longer. So just run some simple math, 200 bushel average right field yield on corn. Now I can be out there a quarter more within the field, put 50 more bushel in there. So now that grain cart or truck has time to get to the field position. So it's all about productivity and efficiency. That's what the 160 series delivers.
What about availability on that combine?
You bet. Availability is currently today. They can go into the dealership and they can order the machine for next season. So Q2 of 2024 will be when we see these units hit in the field. But you can go in just like as we have today, you purchase your machine, 5 to 6 months ahead of schedule. So go into the dealership and you can purchase it today. You'll see it come in Q2 of next year.
Leo Bowes, Case IH, at the 2023 Farm Progress Show in Decatur. I'm Rita Frazier for the RFD Radio Network.
A new farm bill will be late, but an Illinois congressman remains optimistic about the future of a bill in Washington, D.C. Last week, Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell told the Kentucky Farm Bureau Congress is simply out of time before the September 30th deadline. Republican Congressman Darren LaHood, though, remains optimistic.
I have every indication, and I'm optimistic we'll get the farm bill done by the end of this year. We may not meet the September 30th deadline. I think there's a good likelihood we can pass it in either the House or Senate. But it's vitally important for my district and the state of Illinois, Scott. Every 5 years, we reauthorize the farm bill. In the state of Illinois, agriculture and agribusiness is the number one industry in the state of Illinois. Later this week, I'll be at the Farm Progress Show in Decatur, which is our showcase of agriculture in Illinois and across the country. But what the Farm Bill does is it really helps and assists farmers as it relates to crop insurance, as it relates to agriculture research, developmental funding, biofuels, which is vitally important. This kind of sets the stage for the next 5 years on how we can continue to prosper and succeed in agriculture. And again, we have some of the richest farmland in the entire world in Illinois. I'll also remind you, Scott, 11 of the last 13 years, we've led the nation in soybean production, and we've been second to Iowa. Although this last year we had stronger yields in corn, and so the Farm Bill is important. And so I look forward when we get back to DC, being fully engaged. And I'm, again, optimistic we'll get it passed by the end of the year.
The Farm Bill covers things like crop insurance, ag research, biofuels, and other ag sectors. Get news anytime from your computer or mobile device at DeWittDailyNews.com. We stream to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Sports on the way next.
Want to see a mixed flow dryer that takes grain flow in a new direction? Stop by the Brock display at this year's Farm Progress Show to see the new Vector Energy Miser mixed flow dryer with the exclusive Flow Optimizer grain column equalizer and the Even Flow unload system. It's the only mixed flow dryer that combines 2 grain columns into one using a single unload with no metering rolls and no augers required. Visit Brock Grain Systems at exhibit number 1203 in the Northeast Quadrant at the Farm Progress Show in Decatur.
Kenny Kopenbarger here with Morgan Distributing in Decatur, also known as MDI. Farmers, harvest will be here before you know it. Let MDI partner with you to provide all your fuel, propane, and lubricants to get you ready and keep you rolling this fall and throughout the year. Whether you are a current or prospective customer, we would appreciate the opportunity to serve your farm. Give MDI a call today to supply your farm with products you can trust and the people and service you can count on. Call MDI today at 800-800-6625.
What does the future of Midwest agriculture look like? Picture this: a bigger value for corn and ethanol, thousands of new local jobs, billions of dollars in investment, and farming traditions that last for generations.
How do we get there? Through carbon capture technology, an essential tool for growing our economy and preserving the promise of agriculture.
The Smart Carbon Network is committed to smart, safe, and economical sound carbon management.
Because we only get to a brighter future by working together.
Visit smartcarbonnetwork.com.
With SRN Sports, I'm Michael Harrington. Let's start with baseball. Interleague play and the Mets, who bumped the Rangers into third place in the AL West.
The Rangers have lost their share of the AL West lead by falling to the Mets 6-5 in 10 innings. DJ Stewart homered twice and was hit by a pitch with the bases loaded to end the game. Stewart finished with 4 RBIs and made a running backhand catch while crashing into the fence in the ninth. Daniel Vogelbach also homered for New York, which avoided a 3-game sweep. The Rangers have dropped 10 of 13 to fall a game behind the Mariners and Astros. Jonah Heim's two-run single in the eighth put Texas ahead 5-3. I'm Dave Ferry.
Elsewhere yesterday, it was the Pirates over Kansas City 4-1. Rays 3, Miami 0. The Blue Jays beat the Nationals 7-zip. It was the Angels 10 and the Phillies 8. In the American League, White Sox 10, Orioles 5. The Guardians beat Minnesota 5-2. This is SRN Sports. Rounding up the rest of your baseball tallies from yesterday, the Mariners eke out a 5-4 win over the A's. Astros 7, Red Sox 4. It was the Yankees beating Detroit 6-2. In the National League, Dodgers 7, Arizona 0. Braves got the better of Colorado 7-3, while the Reds beat the Giants 4-1. Cardinals 5, Padres 4, and the Cubs over Milwaukee 3-2. NFL news. Miami's GM Chris Greer said conversations with the Colts about 2021 All-Pro running back Jonathan Taylor were exploratory, and no official offers were exchanged between the two teams. Taylor will miss the first 4 games of the season, and GM Chris Ballard isn't sure if or when the 2021 champion will be returning. College football, the conference commissioners who manage the football playoffs have met for the first time since a wave of realignment has changed everything. There could be more automatic bids to the 12-team format. This is SRN Sports.
Time now for a look at sports. I'm Seth Lawrence with this report. Brooks Kluver paced the Clinton Maroons boys golf team to a match win over Olympia and Meridian Wednesday afternoon at the Clinton Country Club. The boys topped Olympia by 9 strokes with a team 173 score and bested Meridian by 25 strokes. Kluver carded the day's low with a 36. Aiden Toohill was third with a 36. Ryan Pine shot a 46. Cole Fintris recorded a 47. And Briley Carter got a 50, while Ashton Douglas carded a 54. The Clinton girls were able to allow each golfer to compete, and their match was unofficial as Meridian had a player drop out, playing with just 3 golfers for the day. Sarah Mills shot a day's best 46. Carly Earl came in third with a 54. Addie Quartz shot a 59. Leah Mills and Grace Gates each carded 60s, and Emma Sanders shot a 68. In JV golf action, the Olympia topped the boys with a team score of 194 to Clinton's 234. Hudson Waters shot a 55, and Carter Cawthorn shot a 58. The Chicago White Sox hit 3 home runs off Kyle Gibson, rallying from an early deficit and pulled out a 10-5 win Wednesday afternoon, avoiding a 3-game sweep at the hands of the Baltimore Orioles.
White Sox avoid a sweep at the hands of the Orioles. They beat them 10-5 on Wednesday afternoon. The Sox gave up 4 in the bottom of the first, then came right back with 4 in the second and 3 in the third. They add on another 3 runs in the 6th inning. Dylan Cease gets the win. He goes to 6-7 with a 4.91 ERA. He struck out 7, gave up 6 hits, 5 runs in total. Luis Robert Jr. added to his home run total, number 36 of the season, and gave the Sox the lead.
The 1-0 is hammered in the air. Deep right center field, and she's going to go. A home run.
White Sox have the off day on Thursday. They'll get back at it Friday against the division rival Detroit Tigers. Our pregame show at 6:30. First pitch 7:10. We're on the Hard Rock Casino White Sox Network.
And the Sox return to the airwaves on Saturday. Cody Bellinger drove in the tying run with a ricochet infield, the tie-breaking run, I should say, with a ricochet infield single in the 8th inning, and the Cubs beat the Brewers 3-2 Wednesday to pull within 3 games of first place Milwaukee in the NL Central. Bellinger's sharply hit ball up the middle glanced off the right ankle of reliever Joel Payamps and third baseman Andrew Monasterio. Bellinger beat out Monastario's throw, allowing Mike Talkman to score from third. It was Chicago's 3rd and final hit of the game. After dropping the first game of the series Monday, the Cubs came back with the next 2 with solid pitching and defense. At 71 and 62, Chicago is a season high 9 over 500. Bellinger with 18 RBIs in his last 12 games and a big league leading 54 since July has helped lead Chicago's climb back into the playoff picture. The Cubs are squarely in the wild card mix as well. Kyle Hendricks went 6 crisp innings, allowing an unearned run on 4 hits while striking out 6 and walking 2. Cubs left-hander Jordan Hicks faces Reds right-hander Graham Ashcraft Friday in Cincinnati. Tommy Edman hit a 2-run homer off Josh Hader in the 9th inning for his second walk-off hit in 2 days off of all-star closer, and the Cardinals beat San Diego 5-4 Wednesday. St. Louis was down 4-3 before Mason Wynn doubled off Josh Hader. With 2 outs in the 9th, Edman sliced a sinker to the opposite field and into the Cardinals bullpen behind the right field wall. Edman's 10th inning single Tuesday gave Chicago a 6-5 win. Get sports anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com.
MR Systems Wireless is your local internet provider for Clinton and surrounding area. They have the products you want and the